Hello, boys and girls. How is everyone doing? Welcome to our music class. Uh, Welcome back to from spring break. I hope everyone had a great, fantastic spring break. I know I did. Hopefully, you guys got to do something fun. You know what I got to do? I went on a little trip, okay? Been meaning to do this for a while. I got my stuff together and I went on a little trip to the kitchen. Kitchen is very nice this time of year. Let me tell you something, boys and girls. It's very, very nice. It's a lot of fun too. I've been meaning to go for a while. I live very close to the kitchen, believe it or not, and I hardly ever go. It was very nice. We had a great time with my family in the kitchen. Anyone else do anything fun? Go anywhere fun for spring break? Yes, you? Yes? No, 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 not you, not you. We'll get to you. Don't worry. What about you? The living room. Yes, I've heard great things about the living room. Always wanted to go. Hopefully one day I'll get the chance to go. Hope you had a great time in the living room. All kidding aside, folks, hope everyone had a very nice spring break. Hope you had a great Passover. Hope you had a great Easter. Hope you had a great time with your family. And before we start our lesson today, let me just say that hopefully as you're seeing this, the grades for the test that we took before break are up. If they're not, don't worry, they'll be up soon, okay? Don't worry too much about it. Although, I have to say, a couple of you did not take the test, okay? And that's a little bit of a problem, but you just make sure you get it in, okay? I'm trying to, not be too much of a stickler. I saw something on social media the other day. I thought it was very nice. It said, or, I mean, nice is not the right word, but made me really think. And it said, we're all in the same boat, but we're not all weathering the same storm. In other words, everyone's having a difficult time right now, but some people are having a far more difficult time than others. I think that's important that we keep that in mind. I'm trying to keep that in mind, but at the same time too, we're trying to make sure you guys get the best possible education under these circumstances. And part of that is assessments, part of that is taking tests, part of that is doing projects and things like that. So we have to, make sure that we're staying on top of it. Because if you don't, if you leave things to the last minute, now all of a sudden you got a lot of stuff piled up. We want to avoid that from happening, okay? So let me know if you need any help. Email me, reach out to me. I'm very understanding, and I'll do my best to help you there. But now we're moving on. We're moving on to our new unit on theory and form, music theory and form. We're going to start with the form part first, and we're going to be talking about um, three particular types of form: rounds, canons, and fugues. And I didn't even change it. This is the second time I'm making this recording, full disclosure, and I didn't even change the spelling mistake from the first time. It's not the type of cannon that you shoot off of a pirate ship, Mr. DeJoseph. It's cannon with two ends, not three. Bro, okay, anyway, moving on, moving on. Rounds, cannons, and fugues, oh my. Let's talk about what form is first, though. So what is form? Form is the blueprint of music, okay? If you think of an architect creates a blueprint, a basic structure to how their house or their building is going to be, right? So just as an architect uses a blueprint to make a house, a composer uses form to create a piece of music, okay? And just like an architect can create a simple house or a complex house, a composer can use form to make the piece more complex or more simple or what have you. There are simpler types of form and there are more complex types of form, okay? But really, what is form? Form is a pattern in the music. If you can hear patterns in the music, then you can begin to understand what form really is, okay? So let's go on to canons and fugues. Let's start with rounds. What is a round? Well, if you go to the Grove Dictionary of Music, which is available online, I think you need a subscription, but some things are free. So it's a good resource. You should check it out for music-related stuff. Well, Grove's dictionary says a round is a term for a piece of music consisting of a single line melody constructed so that it forms its own harmony when sung at different intervals. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot, and it's not over yet. But don't worry, I'm going to make this a lot simpler for you. It goes on and it says, in performance, the melody is usually repeated several times. At the end, the voices may tail off, each stopping when it has completed the melody, leaving the last voice to conclude the piece alone, or they may finish together on a chord. Okay, so that's pretty complex, but basically all this is saying is that it's a single line of music that different voices sing at different intervals. Okay, there's two very important things when we're thinking about rounds, and rounds is actually the simplest type. There's two important things. There is the different intervals, so different voices come in at different times. And then there is the other I word, imitation, okay? And actually, rounds, canons, and fugues all use imitation. Okay, and what is imitation? You probably know what this word means already. Imitation is when, well, maybe you have a younger brother or sister who's always imitating you, right? What does it mean? They're doing what you do. So that's what this is. This is voices or instruments that do what the voice just did. They imitated. And what are some rounds that we all know? I think you'll understand what a round is if you hear one. What's a round that we all know? Yes, Bobby Joe, yes? Yeah, row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat is a round. Now, I would like to sing row, row, row your boat for you as a round, but unfortunately, I'm only one person, and you need at least two people to do a round. So, I have a special guest artist coming in. Oh, I should go this way, huh? Wait, no, I'm gonna come here. Yes. This is Mrs. DeJoseph. Hi, raise your hand if you had Mrs. DeJoseph last year at Moama McKay School. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna start singing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat," and then she's gonna sing it with me as a round. Are you ready?
Can you sing the time?
Yes, I will sing the. That's the pitch.
The starting note.
That's how I will start. Yes. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Give her a round of applause. She didn't never had one lesson. Can you believe that? Never one singing lesson. Good job. Good job. Okay. Now, if you notice there, we created harmonies just even though we were singing the same stuff, the same exact pitches, we were singing them at different times. That made it create its own harmony. What is harmony? Harmony is when you have more than one pitch being sounded at the same time. Okay? So we had some interesting harmony there. I don't know if you were, if you it wasn't always the right harmony, but it was all my fault. Yeah. Um, we had, but we had- there were, but we had harmony, right? Most of the time it was the right harmony, I have to say. Okay, so that's what a round is. Let's move on. Canons, this time spelled correctly. Okay, what is a canon? Well, there's a couple different ways you can think about this. A canon is a more complex version of a round. Technically, a round is a type of canon, if that makes sense. Okay, technically a round is a type of canon because it uses imitation at different set intervals. Okay, but the difference comes in the way that they end. If you noticed, when we did that round twice through, at the end, I stopped and Mrs. DeJoseph sang the last part by herself. Or really, I held out the last pitch and then she finished by herself. Okay? Most canons don't do that. Most canons will find it will be, you know, kind of exact imitation all or most of the way through, but then at the end it will do something different so that it doesn't end that way where there's only one person left singing at the end or playing their instrument at the end, right? So that's really the main difference. Rounds don't break the pattern of the music, and most other canons do. Okay? I mean, that's basically it. The most well-known canon was probably my favorite Baroque one-hit wonder, written by the great Johann Pachelbel. It's called the Canon in D major. If you are in the orchestra, almost certainly you know this. If you've been to a wedding in the last couple decades, chances are you've heard this as well. Very pop, I don't know, maybe even longer than that. Probably the last couple decades is too short, but it probably goes back, a couple hundred years. It's a very well-known piece to play at weddings, okay? I'm going to link it below so you can listen to it afterwards, okay? All right. And later we have fugues. Fugues. If you know, it's fugues. What is a fugue? A fugue is similar to rounds and canons because it uses imitation at different intervals, right? But what makes it different is that when one voice finishes the theme, right, the theme, the main melody, it will go on to play a different accompaniment part. What's an accompaniment part? It's kind of like a less important part than the melody, but it helps with the structure of the piece. So it will go on to play an accompaniment part until its turn comes up again to play the main theme. Okay, and unlike rounds and canons, the intervals are not set. So you might go through part of the fugue where it is set, and the composer can choose to do something different and then have the intervals happen not when you think they would happen, right? They could happen in the middle of phrases, at the end, at the beginning of phrases. It can be whatever the composer wants. The undisputed master of composing fugues was a man by the name of Johann Sebastian Bach. He was the fugue king, they called him. He was the king of many different types of music, actually, but he wrote fantastic fugues, most of them for organ. Okay, he was a church organist at St. Thomas Lutheran Church in Leipzig, Germany, and he wrote some fantastic fugues. I'm going to link a couple of them below. In the 20th century, so this is hundreds of years after Bach, a man by the name of Leopold Stokowski came along. He was a great conductor, famously conducted the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra for many years. He decided that he was going to orchestrate some of Bach's music. What does that mean? That means, so Bach wrote all these fugues for organ. Stokowski said, I'm going to take these pieces for organ and I'm going to write it for orchestra. So I'm basically just going to take the parts, his organ parts, and put them, okay, like this part's going to go in the flute, this part's going to go in the violins, this part's going to, right? So he did this with one of Bach's most famous fugues, nicknamed the Little Fugue in G minor. I'm going to link that below too, and I want you to check out, listen for the theme. Bum 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 bum. Listen for that theme and tell me, you know what? This is going to be your assignment. I'm going to post this. I had something completely different planned, but I like this better. Tell me the names of the instruments as they come in with the theme. Okay? What are the names of the instruments as they come in with the theme? I'll give you a hint. The first one is oboe. The first instrument to play the theme is oboe. what are the other instruments in the order that they play the theme? What are they? Okay, so that means you have to listen to the whole thing. I'm looking at you have to listen to the whole thing. It's a whole 4 minutes of your life that you have to spend listening to a great piece. Okay, so that's it. That's going to be it. That's going to be your assignment for today. Whoops, I, I pressed the wrong button. Oh well, sorry about that. I did that actually before uh, the I forget if it was a 7th or 8th grade video. Anyways, okay, so that's going to be it for today. Yeah, do that Bach Stokowski assignment. It's the Little Fugue in G minor for full orchestra. Okay, it's the one for full orchestra. Take a listen to that and write down the names of the instruments as they come in. If that's too hard, just do what family of instrument is it in? Okay, is it a woodwind, brass, string, or percussion? Okay, so tell me that. If the try to do the actual instrument, the individual instrument, but if that's too hard, then just give me the name of the instrument family. Okay? Is there anything else? I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great spring break again. Listen to not just that piece by Bach, but all the pieces that I linked below, because I think they're all worth listening to, and they all will help us in understanding form. Next time we are going to learn about several different types of form. Okay, so that will be fun. And yeah, I think that's it. Boys and girls, thank you. Have a great day. Please wait for the bell to ring, okay? And you spit out that gum. I don't want to have to write you up. All right. Next time you're chewing gum in class, you're going to have to go to every person's house and put a piece of gum in their mailbox so that it's fair. Okay? All right, goodbye.